I am the Executive Director of the Schuylkill River Greenways. Now, can everybody hear, first of all?
It's cutting in and out.
Yes?
That echo's bad.
Was that a yes or a no?
That's better.
There's an echo.
All right, maybe if I move back a little bit. How's that? All right. Woo! Things are going well already. Well, welcome everyone. I cannot be happier to welcome you to the official grand opening of the Whittaker Bridge today. This has been a long wait for all of us, and we are so thrilled to celebrate with you all today. We have a list of really incredible, important people that have helped us through this. They're going to say a few words today. I'm going to give you the quick rundown of what's going to happen today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to introduce my staff and our board, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Schuylkill River Greenways. Then you are going to hear from some of our incredibly supportive elected officials who have helped make this happen. Then you are going to hear from some of our funders who are here today. Then we are going to hear from our community treasurer, Peggy Whittaker. And then, the pièce de résistance, we are going to cut the ribbon, and then we are going to have the ceremonial first ride, because Peggy Whittaker said, I am going to be the first person on that bridge, and she is, ceremoniously. All right, so let's get started. First, I would like to introduce you to the Schuylkill River Greenway staff that is here today, because although this is a trail project, and mostly our trail department worked on it, this is the type of project, the total huge magnitude of which every single office member is a part of it. So I will start with Julia Hurl, who is our trails director. Raise your hand. Mike Szilagyi, who if you took the golf cart over, he is our trails manager / golf cart operator. I don't know if he's back yet, but raise your hand if you're here. Alex Shandera, who is our office manager and our administrative manager. Mika Patterson, who is our communications director. Michelle Thompson, who is our finance director. And this project is probably most stressful to her for all the times that we ran out of money, which was often. Also, our deputy director, Tim Fengel, who many of you know, could not be here today because he is giving a presentation up in Erie for the Greenways conference, and he really would have liked to be here. We also have 3 of our former staff members here who were here for the beginning of this project. Bob Falwell, if you're going to raise your hand there. Cindy Hunt, and Laura Catalano. And finally, I'd like to introduce you to our board members who are here. John Wolf, if you're here, raise your hand. Rob Coleman, Chris Anderson, Drew Gilchrist, and Dodson Dietrich. This team has worked together on this particular project and many, and worked hard every day, all day long. The Schuylkill River Greenways, if you don't know, is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to connect people to the river. The #1 tool that we use to connect people and communities to the river is the Schuylkill River Trail, which we build, we maintain, and we promote. Now, the Schuylkill River Trail starts in Philadelphia and will go all the way to the top of Schuylkill County, up in Frackville. It will be 120 miles. 75 miles are built. Our team is working feverishly to finish it. All of the miles to be built are in Berks and Schuylkill County, and those are the counties for which we are responsible. So we are still hard at work. Right, this project is finished. We'll celebrate today. Tomorrow we'll get right back at it. We have many other projects in the work. In Auburn, we're finishing a bridge and a trail. Up in St. Clair, we're building 6 more miles. We're improving the trail on 61. And as of next week, we'll be starting with the alignment for the gap between Reading and Hamburg. So we're very, very, very busy. I would like to make sure we very loudly and clearly thank the people and the organizations who have helped pay for this and make it happen. First, I'd like to thank the state, DCNR, which stands for the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. I hope I got that right. Thank you to DCNR. DVRPC, which stands for the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, and I think we have a representative today, I'm not sure. The William Penn Foundation, National Park Service, the Reeser family, who was so nice to donate an easement so that our construction workers could get onto this trail and we didn't have to close the road. And if you've ever done construction before, you know how valuable that is. I'd also like to say thank you to Fork and Ale, who have been tremendous trail partners and have adopted this section of trail, and we will be squatting on their property afterwards for a celebration. And finally, our partners at Sly Fox. As many of you know, they've been a long-time partner of ours. They make a beer called the Schuylkill River Trail Ale, and part of that, the proceeds of that come to us to build more trail, and part of that money went towards this bridge. So thank you to Sly Fox. Now, all of this work that we do, this bridge and every project we do would be virtually impossible if we did not have the steadfast support of our elected officials. We have three of our biggest cheerleaders here with us today, and I'd like to introduce them to you, and they're going to say a few words. First, Senator Judy Schwenk is here, who has been supporting our work, our trails, this particular project for many, many years. I won't say how many. And she is going to say a few words.
Sorry, you use the mic? Okay. I'll pass on the mic if that's okay. I am really delighted to be here. And when I look at you and the crowd that's here, this is what you have done as well. You've been avid supporters of the trail system. You have constantly let us know how important it is. And you've worked with SRG to make sure that they continue this effort. Elaine mentioned the fact that I've been working on this a long time, since I was a county commissioner, now as a state senator, in supporting DCNR and the grants that come through. Whenever there's an opportunity to write a letter, we support it. But also, whenever there's an opportunity, I get out on the trails myself, because I just love to walk. I love this aspect of our community, what it does for us, both in terms of physical health, mental health, as well as for our economy. It's exactly the right thing that we need at the right time, but we got to finish it, right? Yep. So we'll continue to work on it. You'll see us standing behind you as we have been in the past. Thank you very much for everybody who had a hand in helping to make this happen. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, Senator. Next, I would like to introduce you to Representative David Maloney. Representative Maloney is not only a staunch supporter of everything that we do and really comes through every time we ask him on all kinds of aspects of trail building and developing. He's also an avid trail user himself, not just this trail, trails all over probably the country, but at least Pennsylvania, and a really incredible advocate and champion for biking and the cycling all over. And I'm going to ask him to say a few words.
Thanks, Elaine. Thank you for your leadership, because she's really made a difference when she's come on board, and I really appreciate it. It's so good for me to see so many of you here that I've either passed on the trail, chatted with, or talked to in my office, or some of you are familiar with the Share the Road Even license plate that I legislatively passed, which means a lot to us in the combination of road and trail. And this trail is extra special, running in the district the way it does for me being able to get on it and being able to be a little bit more relaxed and just to enjoy it. And to know that this fear factor no longer is here for many people is awesome. Many people turned around here, or they turned around on the other side and they went back. And it's very personal to me because of my dad growing up on a bike. I represented the Schuylkill River Trail a couple years ago when it was named the #1 urban trail in America, riding the bike down to Philly and doing that. So kudos to you all for what you do. And I would be very remiss if I didn't mention the personal contact that I had with Dr. Whittaker many years ago when I started competing in a bodybuilding contest, he removed something on my leg that was, it wasn't cancerous, and it was terrific that that wasn't the case. But when he took that calcium deposit off my leg, we had a connection. And to later on have him on the trail and to ride bike at the same time here and to cross communities was extra special for me. And that to me is what this trail also represents. Because we have our children, our grandchildren here now, we have generations that we get to be able to share this trail with. And I want to thank you all. I get a lot of calls about, hey Dave, what about this over here? And is there something else we can do? We have ambassadors on this trail that I see almost every time I ride. And that really means a lot, because those people care enough to give their time and to make sure that this trail is not only safe, but proper. You know, there's issues. I always sort of tease some people that when you get to Berks County, you get to the gravel. Okay? So that makes it a little bit more country. Some people would like it to be all blacktop. Okay, that's fine too. But we have our own little connection and character when we come to Berks County. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Elaine. And I do look forward to getting on this thing and riding it. Like I ride down to the art museum. I like to ride it from the art museum all the way up to Pottsville and make the whole the whole trip. And glad to see you all on it. So thanks again for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Next, I would like to introduce you to one of our county commissioners, Berks County Commissioner Kevin Barnhart. The county commissioners have been just unbelievably supportive. And, going forward, we're going to be doing a lot of work. We're building 22 plus miles of trail between Reading and Hamburg. So Kevin and I are going to be really good friends over the next 5 and 10 years. And would you mind saying a few words?
Sure. Morning, everyone. I was hoping to hide back there with the crowd. But good morning, and what a great celebration. You wouldn't know it to look at me, but I am an avid trail rider. I don't get down this far, but I usually get from down through Wyomissing down through 724. It's great. We've learned as a county during the pandemic how much use we got in our parks and our trails. It literally doubled or tripled. We want to see that continue to grow, because we need to have a healthy community, and you're all part of a healthy community. And to Elaine's point, we have committed to be not only part of the planning, but part of the completion of the trail without any interruptions from here all the way up through Schuylkill County. We're a part of that. We're committed. On behalf of my colleagues, we want to see this happen in our tenure. So thank you, and God bless everyone, and be safe on the trails.
Okay, did everybody write that down? We've got the county commissioners behind us on this. All right, next, I mentioned DCNR when we were talking about our funders, and they are amazing funders of all of our work. But not only are they funders, they really are, they guide us, they help us, they support us with expertise and technical help. And I would like to introduce today, we do have some Drew Gilchrist is with us from DCNR. Is Kelly Roster here? I think Kelly Roster might be here. Kelly? There she is. Hi, welcome. And Jean Lynch who is I think technically our direct rep here, and she has been amazing through this process, amazing in helping us find other grant money as well. And we're really thrilled that this has come to fruition under her guidance, and she's going to say a few words.
Thanks, Elaine. Is my voice carrying?
You're going to hold it right up to your mouth.
Okay. People hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, as Elaine said, I'm here with my colleagues Drew Gilchrist and Kelly Rossiter, and we're happy to be here to celebrate the opening of the new bridge on the trail. And we're also here to celebrate just the great partnerships and relationships that Schuylkill River Greenways is always able to maintain, so that projects like this can be completed. So we're from the DCNR's grant program. Our bureau is called the Bureau of Recreation and Conservation, and we have a large grant program that every year funds important projects to communities across the state. And the Schuylkill River Trail, improvements to the Schuylkill River Trail are always a high priority for us. We have a statewide trail plan, and a vision of the plan is to have a network across the state of land and water trails that will create recreation, transportation, and healthy lifestyles for all Pennsylvanians. And the big long-distance trails like this one are really the backbone of that trail network. So it's really important to us when we have these opportunities to support this kind of work. Another goal of that plan is for everyone using the trails to feel safe and welcome. And so one of the ways that this project has helped achieve that goal is by creating an ADA accessible crossing and by addressing the safety issue with the road traffic. So we were able to provide almost $600,000 in contributions from the Pennsylvania Recreational Trails Program Fund. We're really happy to do that. And I want to, Elaine mentioned all of her staff, and I appreciate so much the work of all the staff and all the different roles that they play. Specifically, I have a lot of interaction with like the technical trail staff, Bob Falwell, Julia Hurl, and Mike Salegi. They put so much work into this project, years of technical work that is invisible. It involves, fundraising, feasibility studies, easements, permits, managing DCNR grants, working with contractors, all these things that we can't see in order to get this trail bridge on the ground. So really appreciate the hard work that they put in for projects like this. And I also want to acknowledge the very special contribution that Peggy Whittaker made to this project in memory of her husband, Dr. Whittaker. It's very special. And so we're just really happy to be here from DCNR and be a supporting partner and to see all the people who are so excited to celebrate this bridge.
Thank you so much, Jean. Jean mentioned staff, and it triggered my mind. I left out two of my staff members. My bad. So if for many of you who ride the trail, you have met Kevin Kiefreiter, who is our trail maintenance manager. He's amazing. And he's not standing here right now because he's on the other side of the bridge operating his drone, taking pictures of you all. So you can all wave up and say, "Hi, Kevin," and he'll see you. We also have a new team member, Jan Kramer. Raise your hand, Jan, wherever you are. Jan is joining us to help us with fundraising because all of these bridges cost money. So I will let you know where we are. We are just going to go through a little bit. We're going to learn a little bit more about how this bridge came to be, the project itself, how we finished it from Julia Hurl, and how we started it from Bob Falwell. And then we are going to take some time and acknowledge and talk about Peggy Whittaker and her, the namesake of this bridge, Doc Whittaker. So Julia Hurl, our Trails Director, is going to take you through a few details about how this all came to be.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you for coming out, everybody. This is amazing. There's a couple people we'd like to thank before I start. Where is Dave Kapura? He's back there. Where's Pat? There's Pat Worthington. Those are the engineers. They designed the bridge. They made sure we wouldn't fall off of it. So if there's anything you don't like about the bridge, now you know. So I just want to thank you, Dave. Also, I came into this project a year ago. I was new to this, and Dave was very patient with me and brought me up to speed, and it was wonderful to work with. And everyone at the Wilson Consulting Group, so thank you. Is Sean Riley here? Hi, Sean. This bridge was actually built by Twindale Construction Company, which is now Performance Construction Company, under the leadership of Sean Riley. Sean is amazing. I can tell you for sure that I know this because he can go through a heat wave, he can go through a pandemic, and he can go through a hurricane without breaking stride. He kept this project going through this very odd year and brought us here on time with a beautiful product, and we thank you. Now I'm just going to talk for about an hour about the history of the bridge. Mike Salagi gave me the correct dates for things, so thank you, Mike. I have those. So everybody look at this road down here. 200 years ago, that road was not there. But 200 years ago, a canal was built there. That road would have been a canal. running in the exact same location. That was the Gerard Canal, part of the Schuylkill navigation system that was built up and down this region along the Schuylkill River to bring coal out of the highlands up in Schuylkill County and then to bring goods up and down the river. It was the main source of transportation. And that went in about 100 years ago. 200 years ago, excuse me. Then, I don't want to say it wrong, 140 years ago, almost modern times, there was a railroad bridge built at this location crossing the canal. There still was no road here. It was crossing a canal. And that was built by the Pennsylvania Railroad, also called the Pennsy. They were competing with another railroad on the other side of the river. That was about 140 years ago they built that bridge as they started to bring the railroad up through the valley, up north to Schuylkill County. Then 110 years ago, so 30 years later, they were using heavier trains, a different style of train, a different power, and they needed a stronger bridge. So they removed that bridge. If you had a chance on your way over, if you saw the wall that's below me here, it's facing that way, so if you haven't seen it, be sure to go around and take a look. That wall is the original abutment of the first railroad bridge that crossed the canal. And we unearthed it accidentally during this project. We didn't know exactly where it was. So we're thrilled to have that incorporated into our project, and we're going to do some interpretive material so people know a little bit about the history of that, and we're thrilled to have found that relic. Thank you again, Sean. So about 100 years after the canal was built, so about 100 years ago, it stopped being an important transportation and way to move goods around. So that was no longer used, and about 60 years ago, the canal was filled in. And the canal was filled in and a road was built here. So that's the beginnings of 724. So of course then at that point, the second railroad bridge that had been built for the heavier trains is now crossing a road. 35 years ago, so we're getting almost to modern times. 35 years ago, the railroad was abandoned, and they removed that second bridge that they had built. So there's been no bridge here during that span of time. So now we're up to about 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, in 1991, is when Schuylkill River Greenways got involved. And I'm hoping Bob Falwell will come up and tell us about that.
It's almost like we had this plan. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. You did it! Yeah! Well, I'm not as eloquent a speaker as Elaine and everybody else, so I wrote notes. But there's a few things that, I'm kind of the old guy here now. I started with Greenways, along with Julia, actually, back in '91, when we became a state heritage area through the auspices and graciousness of DCA at that time. So anytime they need a little history, they call me up and say, can dust me off, and can you come over here and say a few things? Well, I got 3 pages, so they're not going to invite me back again. So, good morning, we did it. Actually, I wrote that down. I was Schuylkill River Greenway Association's trail project manager, recently retired less than a year, for 15 years. However, it took me 25 years to understand the adage that preparation plus opportunity equals luck. I'd like to extend that further to add words, faith, and trust to this list. First, some context. The idea for a regional corridor began in Philadelphia in the 1920s, although it actually received its kickstart through the demise of the Reading and Penn Central Railroads in the late 60s. This is the part Julia ended at. These 2 roads, along with other bankrupt Northeast railroads, were swept together to form Conrail. Since only one line was needed along the Schuylkill, Conrail abandoned Penn Central tracks. It became the backbone of the Schuylkill River Trail. Montgomery County, the area's regional bike trail leader, created a major Schuylkill River Trail section when it established the Philadelphia to Valley Forge Bikeway, starting in the late 70s. At around the same time, Schuylkill River Greenway Association, a 3-person, in a good year, nonprofit, was established in Wyomissing, Berks County. In the early 1990s, it took faith on behalf of a PennDOT Transportation Enhancement Grant Award that the Greenway could manage the trail's building and maintenance. This led to the long-time hire of trail engineer Dwight Powell, who managed Greenway's projects for the next 30-plus years to build trail sections between Pottstown and Pottsville. Faith also came from government agencies, private and public funders, and the hundreds of volunteers that determined their support to this organization was worthwhile. I hope everyone's okay. It took faith. It took faith from Larry Williamson of the Pennsylvania Department of Community Affairs, predecessor to PADC&R, that Greenways could become a state heritage area, which through an act of Congress later became a national heritage area. This gave Greenways national status and local cred beyond Berks County. It required a planner, Cheryl Achenbach, to insert a 2-sentence paragraph describing the awkwardness and potential danger of this particular intersection into Berks County's open space and greenway plan. This identified through an official local document the specific recommendation required by funders to support this bridge project. I think we're talking the early 2000s for this plan. So this has been around and starting for quite a while. Today it also highlights in very stark terms the need for long-term established private and public partnerships. Right, Kevin? Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. An opportunity was created by the William Penn Foundation's partnership with the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission to generously fund a Philadelphia area trail circuit. It took individuals, Bob Thomas and Chris Lynn, and others within that partnership to include supporting the SRT in Berks County and to amend their eligibility criteria to provide nonprofit trail organizations such as ours access to their funding umbrella. To receive grants, all projects require some sort of a study and master plan. Just saying it's a good idea isn't believable for some reason. So it took a belief from DCNR and DVRPC that Greenways could shepherd such a study, which not only studied how to build the bridge, but completed preliminary design work all within that budget. I recall visiting here with Fran Rubert and later Gene Lynch, both of DCNR, to review this project. At the time of Gene's visit, it appeared I must have solicited for heavy traffic because it was a very busy intersection that day when she came. I couldn't have planned it any better. To make it all happen, it took trust from funders Doc and Peggy Whittaker, trust from Union Township, and a belief from PennDOT, DCNR, and DVRPC that Greenways could coordinate property easements, consultants, grant acquisition, design, environmental permitting, and other numerous agency approvals. It also took cooperation from the Reesers and Union Township to provide property access. Lastly, and most importantly, it took the Wilson Consulting Group's patient engineering team, led by Dave, back there. There you go, Dave. Yep. To pull this project through its regulatory and utility approvals, final design, bidding, and finally construction. The Whittaker Bridge was not born of luck, but was the result of a consistent policy and a thorough preparation that began with that open space plan paragraph about 20 years ago for Greenways to achieve this opening today. This is a great moment for all of us. Thank you all for coming, and Julian, back to you. Okay, not Julie. Elaine, back to you.
Thank you, Bob. It was great to hear the history and know how this all came to be. Now, next we're going to take a few minutes and talk a little bit about Peggy Whittaker and how this really did come to be. Because there was a point in building this bridge where we had a huge funding gap. And we had, all of our sources were dry, and we were devastated. We really had nowhere else to go. Peggy, being the treasure that she is, and the generosity of spirit that she has, and the recognition of how much this trail means, stepped up and made an extraordinary gift to fund the rest of this trail and to make it happen. I would like to introduce to you Jack Corey, who is a longtime board member of the Schuylkill River Greenways, a great friend of Peggy Whittaker, and a great friend of Doc Whittaker, for whom this bridge is named. Jack?
I look look at Bob Fullwell, and Bob, I have 3 pages also, but mine are double-spaced. And when you give an attorney a microphone, you're probably making a mistake. But in this instance, I'm not here as an attorney. I'm here, frankly, as a good friend of the Greenway and help in cultivating relationships with people of Peggy's character and resources, as well as many others who do not have that character and resource. I say good morning to the family of Dr. Richard P. Whittaker and friends, and especially to Peggy Whittaker, our honored guest, who has or will be cutting the ribbon this morning. In addition, I also wish to acknowledge those present who are elected and appointed officials, board members of SRG, both presently and since the bridge project was funded and approved, and of course Elaine Schaefer, our executive director and president. Clearly, without this generous gift in memory of Dr. Richard P. Whittaker by Peggy Whittaker, this bridge would not yet have been constructed. Dr. Whittaker, Dr. Richard P. Whittaker, who passed away on February 26, 2016, clearly touched the lives of so many, including family, friends, healthcare providers, professionals, patients, athletes, staff, and doctors at home and abroad. And I say that respectfully. He probably spent more hours abroad doing good work than he did at home, unfortunately for Peggy. After his passing, he was best eulogized by a friend who said, and I quote, Dr. Richard P. Whittaker's purpose in life, through his generosity and giving of his time and resources, was to make a better life for all of us. Simple and intentionally all-encompassing by the speaker at that time. I borrowed that quote, and I have to give credit. Those who knew Dr. Richard and Peggy recognized immediately kind, thoughtful, gifted, and enthusiastic humanitarians with a great passion for life, always boundless and without limits. Their generosity continues as evidenced by this magnificent gift to complete the funding as required to make this bridge a reality. This gift by Peggy in memory of Dr. Richard should not have surprised those of us who knew Richard and Peggy, who together have been forever present. Always supporting worthwhile projects in the greater Pottstown area and beyond. We have all witnessed both Dr. Richard and Peggy over these many years, whether Dr. Richard was marching as a doctor and a veteran and a good neighbor to all in a quiet, dignified, and positive image, marching down High Street in parades, driving in Dick's favorite antique car, inviting friends to their home and or to their farm in Chester County, or just running, walking, or riding on the trail. Yes, the trail to Richard, as Peggy knew so well, was special, and the use of the trail would provide a healthy and safe opportunity for all users along its many miles through trail towns from Philadelphia to the headquarters of the Schuylkill River in Schuylkill County. The operative word in this context is safe. With the assistance of our Schuylkill River Greenways Executive Director and President, Elaine Paul Schaefer, and with the support of elected and appointed government officials and our great staff, we explored various projects on the SRG wish list. Peggy, an avid biker and runner on the trail, embraced the need for further safe trail expansion in accordance with our mission into Berks County to complete yet another link as planned. During our various conversations with Peggy, and I suggest there were more than a few, in regard to the bridge as a project, with Peggy's warm and friendly smile, Peggy stated that although not a condition to her gift, Peggy wanted to ride, not walk or bike, over the bridge upon its completion. Elaine, our executive director, shared with the board and staff Peggy's gentle but firm request as to managing a speedy project with completion, of course, and the bike ride by Peggy across the bridge, which was a certainty to all involved at that time. Thereafter, of course, as one would expect, the project required design, bidding, and governmental procedures requiring full compliance, engineering, surveyors, and other technicians, requiring hours of planning, meetings, and oversight. Peggy would gently ask me from time to time, how long does it take to build a bridge? My reply, after careful and thoughtful times to Peggy, routinely was, and I quote, "We're happily to see that you are regularly biking and running on the trail." Her response was always, "Oh yes," to which my only response was, "Then, trust me, there's still enough time." To which Peggy's response was with a big smile, "I'm still here and just checking in." Then we laughed together as we both, along with other board and staff, carefully and closely monitored the progress. And now, some 5 years, 6 months, and 21 days from February 26, 2016, the passing of Richard, to September 2021, today, we are officially present to witness the ribbon cutting today, and for years to come, we will remember meeting this morning on this bridge on this beautiful day with Peggy and all of those around us, including many grateful trail users, ambassadors, as well of this magnificent bridge, which provides safe passage without the need to walk or bike at ground level across busy Route 724, so that one might proceed westerly to Reading and northward to Schuylkill County. Peggy and family, and elected and appointed officials, and our SRG board and staff, and to be sure, all who frequent the SRG trail system, thank you all collectively, gave of your time and resources to complete the bridge, and who are today memorializing by this ribbon cutting and the placard to my left, officially naming the bridge to be known as the Richard P. Whittaker, MD Memorial Bridge, as of this 20th day of September 2021. I thank you with everyone associated with Greenway for coming and joining us in this memorable day. Thank you.
Peggy, dare I ask that you say a few words? You got to hold it right up to your mouth.
What a day! Wow! Beautiful bridge, beautiful day. And for me, all of you coming out, it's just incredible. For you to come out and honor my late husband. I understand there are 25 people from Bill's Bikers, my favorite biking group. And I see many fellow Rotarians here. And I know you have other things you could be doing. So for you to come is just wonderful. And I'm sure this will mean a lot to my family that you all came out for this special day. The weather couldn't be better. Do you remember the groundbreaking? It was below freezing. I was without electricity, so was Elaine. And what a change. And this beautiful bridge is part of that change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peggy. Okay, we're about at the moment. I'm going to leave you all with one parting thought, and that is that this Saturday is the Ride for the River. And the Ride for the River is going to go right over this bridge. It will be our first event incorporating this bridge. If you haven't signed up already, please join us, spread the word, we'd love to see you. Now, we're going to do the ribbon cutting, and I'm going to ask the engineers, the construction workers, the board members, the SRG staff, trail staff, the elected officials, and of course Peggy, and DCNR, to please come up and get behind the ribbon. Peggy is going to have the scissors. She's going to be very careful with those scissors. And we are going to go ahead and cut the ribbon. All right. Come on, Bob. Oh, and Bob Colwell, you're part of the staff that built this bridge.
People are going to cross to the other side.
All right, go ahead. Yep, everybody on the other side, They are. All right, Peggy, front and center, please. Peggy, will you get front and center? Go, there's your Jack, one. All right.
There is an art.
You have,
Somebody should.
Dawson, will you get over a little bit? Will you guys move over just a little bit? Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. Now, Peggy, we promised you the ceremonial first ride. Would you like to ride or would you like to walk?
I better walk. I might
Okay.
fall off the bike. I'm so excited.
Okay, so everybody please part ways here. And I want everyone to give a huge round of applause.
Okay.
Let's give a little piece of ribbon to Peggy Carey.
Yeah. Okay. Am I supposed to walk?
They should got this
We
up.
can't quite get the ribbon, so we're going to
Who brought a
do it without
pocket
the
knife?
props. And everyone give Peggy Whittaker a huge round of applause as she does the ceremonial first walk. All right, Peggy!
No, it was done Friday.
All right, Peggy.
I was here last week.
I will thank you all for being here and joining us today. Thank you for that and celebrating. Thank you.
Sure. About 5 years. The electron. He was an orthopedic surgeon.
Stuck up in the corner.
I was here to see the beams being placed. Peggy a photograph that I took of the first beam being hoisted up.
sitting down.
Battery life isn't that great on them either. You get about 12 minutes of flying.
I have the longest hair in the family.